Very much. Well, I think, Mr. Asselborn, we have to say the truth to the public opinion. It was a failure, the meeting of the Ministers of Interior. We didn't reach an agreement, even when it is in fact a topic that could be decided with a qualified majority, in my opinion. And I'm very doubtful that on the 22nd of September we're going to have a deal. So in my opinion, it is an issue that has to be tackled on the level of our heads of states and government, and not longer on the level of the Ministers of Interior alone. It's not an issue of security alone. It's a refugee crisis, the biggest that we have ever faced, and I think that it is to the Prime Ministers and the heads of states to take their responsibility, to come together and to elaborate a comprehensive approach for this problem. And in that respect, I have to tell you that we are now stuck in a debate between Visegrad prime ministers who refuse the common responsibility, and then mostly Western politicians, prime ministers who are having... so we are stuck in the middle of such a debate, and we have to come out of this debate. And the only way to come out of this debate is not only to talk about this shared responsibility, it's one of the elements, and we're going to vote on this with the Parliament, but is to have a broad approach. We have also to tackle the other issues. And the other issues are, there is no economic migration policy in the European Union. So economic migrants are abusing it because of a lack of economic migration policy of the European Union. There is no common border agency. Frontex is not a common border agency. It are people that we take from a number of member states, 4 member states, Italy, Greece and so on, and they are doing the job. While it should be a mandatory system in which all 28 member states are participating. And there is at the same time, let's be honest, also not a common policy to try to tackle the sources of this refugee crisis. That's to be engaged to stop the Syrian war, that's to be engaged with more money to tackle the problems in Africa, in different parts of Africa. So I think really you can organize whatever meetings you want on the 14th and the 22nd of September, and then maybe on the 3rd, a week later. I think it's time that the heads of states and government, under the leadership of Mr. Tusk and Mr. Bettel, as the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, is starting with a real summit to tackle the whole issue and to have a comprehensive approach. And then I think, Mr. Asselborn, that you have a chance also to convince Visegrad countries. When they see that it makes part of a global approach, and not starting by saying, yeah, you have to take 20,000 or 25,000 and that's it. No, that's, in my opinion, maybe not the right tactical move. And finally, I have to tell you, there are 2 urgent problems we have to face. The first is the funding of the different camps of the UN in Jordan, in Lebanon, in Turkey. They have no money for the moment. They have to lower the money. So the allowance for 32 went to 13. So it's going to be a huge flow to Europe again. So my appeal to the European Commission is that they fund immediately, on an urgent basis, with their possibilities inside the budget, the United Nations. And that they give the money that is necessary in the coming days, so that we can in any way improve the conditions of these refugees in Lebanon and in Jordan, because there can be a new flow. And finally, I think also, Mr. Timmermans, Marielle de Sarnez and Nathalie Griesbeck, 2 of our colleagues, went to the Hungarian border, and I can confirm what Mr. Pitella said. What is happening there is a shame that it happens inside the European Union. And the Commission has also a task and a control function on that. And you have to act on Hungary.